Welcome to the Evening Gamer.
Welcome, everybody.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Guy.
And here we are again.
Episode 5.
Episode 5. You love saying the number of the episode.
I do, don't I?
You do.
I sort of like to keep a mental track in my mind of sort of where we're at.
Yeah, we're back to... Well, we're not back to it. We're doing reviews again this week.
We
By way
are?
of agenda, I suppose. We've got Corrections Corner. We're sharing a bit of a milestone for the podcast as well. 2 reviews, questions from a hat.
That's it. That's the style.
And I just want to say, obviously I've been listening to our episodes on playback, and you know what I'm going to pledge? I'm going to pledge to stop swearing so much.
I reckon we should also pledge to stop saying 100% and being so agreeable.
We do a few things, but the swearing's definitely front of mind because I didn't realise how much I dropped the F-bomb until
me
listening
too, to be honest.
myself speak for 40 minutes straight.
I know. I think, you know what it is? I realise, because we're often recording this, I'm mortally hungover. I think my vocab goes down and I just swear instead.
Yeah, we might have to change the recording day from a Saturday to a more day that you pledged of sobriety.
Yeah, I should probably consider this.
Maybe midweek. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, we have joked about turning it into a drinking game. You know, I reckon we could do it drunk. I think that'll be a laugh.
Okay, calm down. Let's stay on agenda here. You know something I want to mention just before we go into gaming?
Yes.
I know last week I mentioned Ted.
Yes.
So I've been kind of staying on the TV movie train.
Yeah.
I saw Dune 2 last night in cinema, and it's the best movie I've ever seen by a very long way.
That is strong high marks.
9.7 out of 10.
My God.
My goodness, mate. If you haven't seen it yet, it's going to be in cinemas for a while. I think it's doing pretty well on box office per se. Go see it in the cinema.
I'm hearing good things. I really enjoyed listening to you tell me about watching it with your missus, who was, I think, drunk.
Yeah, she kind of fell asleep through half. She kept whispering about, "Are you enjoying this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really am. Would love to watch it."
You were that couple in the cinema.
But no, so good. Tight. I bought the loose ends. The acting was phenomenal, mate. The cinematic experience. It promised on everything that Dune 1 kind of had question marks over. And oh my God, loved every minute of it.
Is this a trilogy? We're going to get a third?
They're speaking about a trilogy, but I think that's kind of hinged on the success of this second one, which I think is doing pretty well. So it might turn into it. But, mate, if I was an author and that was the adaptation of my book into film, I would be fucking ecstatic.
Yeah, right. I saw a meme the other day being like, you write a science fiction novel, sort of whatever it is, and you name the main character, Paul.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I won't give any spoilers, but he gets a name change. So.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
He does. Well, I've got a few favors for you listeners today because I'm going to be recommending a game that everyone should absolutely give time to play. So Dune 2, go see it. I'll get into my game, which is I'm actually going to be covering Outerwilds today.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be doing Helldivers too, but before we do get into the game reviews, we've got a write-in and the milestone, and I don't know what this milestone is.
No, the milestone is the write-in.
Oh, okay, right.
We got our first fan response. Luke from Sydney wrote in and gave us a few weapons that he holds in high regard through his gaming journey.
Let's hear it.
He mentioned 3 actually: the Pack-a-Punch ray gun in Zombies, which I did mention in a previous
Call of Duty
episode.
Zombies.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Which is when you kind of get to level 10 in Zombies if you do well enough to survive that long, you can upgrade and you often get a laser, like what they call the ray gun. Right. And this thing for the next 10 rounds of Zombies, you basically just completely run a train through them. Yeah, nice. Great gun. Luke also mentioned the Abyssal Whip from OG RuneScape, so original gangster RuneScape, which I was playing when I was 8. It's like 2001, man. And yeah, that was a kind of piece of equipment that you actually really had to grind to. I would say that was like 50 hours of RuneScape gaming. You had to be combat level 70. What a weapon. And also the Rhino from Ratchet & Clank. I'm not familiar, but have you played Ratchet & Clank?
I have played Ratchet & Clank. I'm trying to look up what this gun is as we chat. Right.
But how good is that? Luke from Sydney, thanks so much for writing in, mate. Really appreciate you. And I hope you enjoyed the shout-out. Everyone, keep writing in.
I know the Rhino. With RuneScape, it kind of makes me think of like, RuneScape and WoW were 2 sort of giant gaming sort of things I sort of dipped my toe into. I never really committed too hard to. But I've always got a funny story about WoW. So like started playing that when I was, it was like 13 or something like that. Dark Crusade, I think it just come out at the time. And I was playing it, and of course you get into some sort of clan or whatever. And this guy was like, "Oh, give me your login, and I'll stack your character with heaps of loot."
Did you get hacked?
Well, if you hand over your password, are you really getting hacked? Anyway, next time I went to log in, password didn't work.
Volunteer just volunteering, just
volunteering.
Yeah, all your
pretty much. You know, it's amazing that I haven't been done by like an African prince or something like
Nigerian prince that needs $1 million. Well, there you
go.
So episode 5, Outerwilds, and what are you covering?
Helldivers
and Stories of Being Hacked. How good.
Corrections corner.
Yes, corrections.
Man, I'm really keeping you on task today.
There you are. I don't think I have any corrections.
The only correction I was going to give, and it's not really too much of a correction, is listening back to episode 4. I think I was really harsh on Jedi Survivor. Like I felt like I was probably too harsh on it. I was chatting to a mate who'd played it through, and we kind of talked it through. He hadn't listened to the episode yet, and he was like, "That was a great game." Like, you know, so I think I might have been a bit harsh on that one. I think maybe my flat 7 might have been a bit brutal. I should increase that slightly, but anyway, it's done now.
No, I'm going to back your review. Fuck that game.
I'll take it.
Sounds like they missed.
I didn't think they missed.
Sounds like they went for 3 and just missed. Sometimes you miss, man.
I was just listening back to it, and all my criticisms, I was like, I kept justifying it, and I think I was trying to persuade myself that I didn't like it as much as I maybe actually did. I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted on that one.
Well,
anyway.
We've got to give the honest opinion, so I appreciate you for it.
True. So I am keen to hear your game review. Over to you. Rip in, son.
Yes. Outer Wilds. Now, I'm going to come right out and say it. I've played a lot of games across a lot of different platforms, heaps of platforms, but this is the best game I've ever played.
Shit.
And I hold it so close to my heart. It was by Mobius Digital. Now, they're a gaming company that done a couple of small projects, but this was their biggest one, and they just nailed it. So your main protagonist is what they call a Hearthian. You essentially wake up on a planet that's in a constant 24-hour loop, 24-hour in-game loop. So I think it's like 8 to 10 minutes our time. And to give a little bit of a spoiler, the reason why it's in a loop is because the sun that planet is in keeps going supernova. But you're the only one that knows you're in a loop. No other character actually knows. Everyone wakes up every morning and says roughly the same thing to you, unless you do a side quest that makes them say something different. But you essentially need to go out and travel to all the different planets in this solar system and find out what happened to an ancient civilization that was exterminated called the Namai.
Okay.
So you have, I think it's 7 different planets in this little solar system that you navigate, and there's clues everywhere. And you have a little translator, and there's writings on walls down every nook. There's dark spaces that you need to go and find things, and you really just need to figure out what's going on and how to stop the sun from going supernova and stop this time loop that you're in. Now, the reason why I love this game is because you wake up and it's the best game to go into just not knowing anything. It doesn't matter who you speak to, doesn't matter what the order is, doesn't matter what planet you visit first, it's all going to tie in because the clues that you uncover are chronologically lodged for you in your spaceship. So every time that you wake up to a new loop, you can go back to your spaceship, you have all the clues there and you go, what do I need to piece together this run through?
Right.
And it was just so good. The eeriness, the discovery of the game, the environmental challenges, like you're obviously in space, so you have to be aware of things like fuel and how much air you have when you leave your spaceship, when you're out of the atmosphere and things like that. There's constant impending doom. There's so much character development because you talk to people that are confused as to why they feel like they're living a bit of a Truman Show, and just listening to them speak about it and trying to bring them to terms with the fact that they're in a loop, which is something you can never do. You're just this protagonist that's completely left alone. You have to figure it out. And I love games that are able to immerse you in a single experience like that. Like this was just a 10 out of 10 across the board. And something that they did, which was so beautiful to me, was throughout the loop of every day in this game and in this solar system, the environments on every planet are changing constantly. So like if you want to go and figure out one clue on one planet, you have to get there before it like gets obliterated by another planet, or before, day turns to night and that clue's not available anymore. And to be able to do that across an entire game is something no other game does. Right? When you leave an area in a game and you go to a new one, it loads that area for you. This is a game that was constantly changing across the galaxy, across the solar system, and you had to plan out how you were going to do that run through. Now, that's really all I have to say about it without giving spoilers away. If you have not played Mobius Digital's Outerwilds, not Outerworlds. Outerwilds.
Yeah, I keep making that mistake.
And gamers, add this to the fucking list of games that Guy hasn't played. I've recommended to him because it's another one. I don't push people to play this game, but if you're looking for something to scratch the itch, if you're looking for something that you come home and you finish dinner and you don't want to grind away on your favorite BR or something like that, download Outerwilds, give it an hour, and tell me that it's not up there.
Okay, I have questions. Is this first person? Like what over the shoulder? Like
it's action adventure RPG first person.
Okay. And did you ever find it annoying that if with the time way it works, the time loop, if you miss the window for a clue, you'd have to rerun the whole thing again?
Not annoying at all. Often I would just KMS.
What's KMS?
Kill myself.
Oh, right.
Just kill yourself, start the loop again, you're right next to your spaceship, fly over to wherever you need to go. That's how easy it was.
So it wasn't a chore?
No, and it's not like when you die, you lose loot. You just got the clues in your spaceship. That's it. So if you need to do something, or often what you would do is be like, okay, I've missed that clue. I'm going to go do this planet's clues now for the next 3 minutes that I've got. And the first thing I'll do next run through is go to that clue, go to that planet.
Yeah. So it's like it's a sort of an investigation, sort of point and click kind of adventure sounding. Like there's no shooting. There's no. I mean, is there aliens? Like
there's aliens, but there's things that can hurt you, but it's not combat.
No combat.
It's pure survival, discovery, action adventure, and it's just as someone that is a huge combat player, gamer, this I couldn't put it down. It has amazing DLC, tied in so well, and something that I'm upset about but happy they did is they didn't milk this for what it was worth. They did the base game, they did the DLC, and they were like, "That's our product. It's final. It's perfect. It's out there."
Okay.
You know, like they didn't do like the old Assassin's Creed. That was like, "Here's an amazing storyline, and here's 10." Shitty games to follow on. We're just going to navigate away from our storyline.
DLCs
and go for the cash grab.
Whack a new coat of paint over it. I'll never forget Ubisoft did Far Cry, maybe 3, and then after that did Primal, and people realized what they'd done is use the exact same base map, but then reversed it, so basically inverted it, flipped it, and they just reran the script bit, took the guns out, put some elephants in there. And you're like, you cheap bastards. You're just churning it out.
And it's something EA is so bad with it. Well, the old cut and paste. The old I've seen this house room before.
Exactly.
The FIFA was just a cash grab. Cash grab every year. Just
churn
cut
it out
and paste
every year. Yeah.
This was a game that I had in my, on my Xbox. I couldn't bring myself to delete it. Sometimes I would just go back into the game and go to my favorite area in the game and just chill. Nice. That's how good this game was. Left a mark on me. Anyone that has played it through would agree with me. If you haven't played it, at least look into it. You'll love it.
It sounds like, listening to you review it, it reminds me of a game called Myst back in the day that was on PC that was quite sort of, no combat, point and click kind of adventure, clues, and, I think my brother played it and I sort of watched him play that. So what's the rating? Have you given a rating?
I don't believe in 10 out of 10s.
Okay.
Purely because...
I feel like when you started the review, you were like, this is a 10 out of 10 game.
I feel like it's very difficult to say something was done perfectly because I don't think there's another game that's really replicated this the way Outerwilds did, so I don't have really like another benchmark.
Okay.
But this has to be like a 9.8, man.
Is there any grievances? Is there any parts
Zero.
Like zero grievances?
Zero grievances.
Okay.
I mean, there's frustrations in every game when you don't get something that you want to get the first run through and you maybe have to do it again, but that's gaming. If you don't like having to repeat an effort to finish a game, then you're probably not a gamer. We know that's part of it. It wasn't done to the fact where it was annoying, though. It was just like, I fucked up there. I need to do that again. And I just, 9.8, man. I can't find anything wrong with it.
Okay. All right. It's a very strong review from you. I mean, you've talked about it to me before. I know you really enjoy it, and it is on my list, and eventually I'll get to it.
I feel like list.
It is a growing list. And in the last episode, I complained how it's a never decreasing list at the minute just because I was bottlenecked by bloody Baldur's Gate 3. But I have dropped it, and I have now started playing Helldivers 2, and I'll be chatting about that game momentarily.
Well, let's go into it, unless you have any other questions for me. I mean, it's one of those things where... it's a relatively simple game, Outerwilds. It does what it does. It does it well. I've spoken about it. And play it. Please play it. Please play it. If nothing else but to just give Mobius the support that it deserves for releasing a game like this. Obviously don't play it only for that reason because you'll love it, but play it.
I feel like you've wrapped it up like 3 times now. This is like me with bloody Jedi Survivor last episode.
I don't want to navigate into the space where you try and get me to talk shit about it because I'll get upset.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So Helldivers 2, my game, it's been all the rage. You know, you've seen it all over your Instagram. The trailer, I showed Taylor the trailer just before we recorded this one. It's got a great sense of humor. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It reminds me of that movie, Starship Troopers back in the day. Like, it's very that kind of vibe, sort of this, you know, uber militaristic, but, you know, let's make democracy across the world, but it's, you know, we're murdering aliens left, right, and center.
I noticed they went for a fair bit of comedy.
They did, yeah. They sort of, it's nice, it's good, and like it carries through to the game. So you load into the game.
Like one of the opening intros you showed me was a guy watching his family get
slaughtered. Yeah, literally murdered. Yeah, just
basically using that horrific. As a marketing ploy to get people to
ingenious. But it's such a motif on like the World War II where it's like, see the world, you know, travel, see exotic places, and it's just them murdering aliens. Like,
come to World War One. It was just trench warfare.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
You know, like Vacation to France. It was not.
It certainly was not.
I love that.
Helldivers 2, sequel Helldivers original. They've changed it massively from the original. That one came out 2015, was a top-down shooter. And I never played that one, but I went back and looked at some of the gameplay, and my goodness, what a change up from them. You know, to go from a top-down it looked like sort of 4 little men running around, like a little kind of almost a mobile game kind of vibe to it, to this, what is a behemoth of a game. You know, I would go so far as to say, like, such a revolutionary change of a game style. And so I dropped Baldur's Gate 3 to pick this one up. It's developed by Arrowhead Game Studios, published by Sony, only on PS5 and Windows. Sorry, Xbox players, another one of those ones. And this game, I want people to buy PS5 who I'm friends with so that I can play it with them.
Well, I might, hey? Like, I'm going to make this announcement right now. I'm going to buy a rig very soon.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to buying myself a rig as well. I think it's about time we get into the PC gaming world.
Yeah, I think so. Like,
just because I'm just a bit tired of this.
I'm starting to do myself a disservice not having a rig.
Yeah, I know. And it's the same with, like, they're saying that PS5 is in its late stages, I saw, and like, I'm just not in the headspace again to buy another set of fucking consoles and stuff. And like, you just go PC, change out your graphics drive, and you're good to go for the next round. Like,
yeah. And oh, by the way, when we say rig, we mean PC.
I think everybody would know. Listen to that.
I'm just trying.
I don't think we're talking about our six packs here.
I mean, we're hot boy summer. No, I just want to make this listenable for everyone. We're the evening gamer. We're not the.
But yeah, very true. Exactly.
So,
we should explain some of this terminology that we use. So going back to Helldivers. So this game is. Oh man, like the footage you see when you watch trailers of this and people playing gameplay, it is exactly like what you're seeing. They're not clipping the best bits and there's boring parts. You fire into this game and it is insane. There is explosions going off left, right, and center. There is just bullets flying. These aliens are just coming out all over the shop. There's like mechanics. There's these jumping, flying things. There's huge, massive aliens. And it's just like... my eyes just popped open. I'm a sci-fi nerd at the best of times, and this game ticks so many of my boxes and is so satisfying murdering these aliens. Like, just to see their limbs fly off, not in some, sadistic way, but it's just satisfying. Like,
let's talk about loading into it then. So you've just recently started playing it. You've wet the whistle on it. What was the first hour like?
So first hour you come in. Yeah, great question. So you come in and you do basic training, which keeps the comedic element to it, and it teaches you all the sort of elements of it. And there was a nice little part where you have to dive. There's sort of a lot of ducking and diving in this, sort of to get away from aliens as they come at you. And in the basic training, they teach you, the basics of how to play the game, what the controls are, usual sort of stuff. And it's a live fire training drill, and you have to dive into what is sort of a pit as these 2 sentry guns like light up. Again, very reminiscent of sort of Vietnam War things, as you crawl through a mud pit with barbed wire fences as they fire live rounds over your head, kind of thing. And if you get the dive wrong, you get murdered. Rinsed, just the bullets shred through you, and you reclip into it. But it's just such like a this game is intense. Like you will die a lot in this game with friendly fire being on. And that's
something else I was going to ask. Can you play by yourself?
You can play by yourself, and this is where I get to one of the grievances, whereby you can play by yourself, but you want to play this with friends. It is a must to play with friends because you'll have so much fun having a laugh, watching each other's backs, getting to enjoy the spectacle together and winning some of these things, which are really hard at times. When I loaded in, I don't know anybody else with a PS5 and who has this game. You know, I know a couple of people with PS5s, but they're not playing this game. I'm trying to persuade them to play the game. But this game, you want to play it with mates. I played it with randoms. No one's on mics, no chat. You're just sort of watching each other's backs, but it's all broken apart. You know, unlike an Apex where you're chatting the whole way through using strategy or the rest of it. It's just bullets flying, you know, and you've got objectives to do, but everyone's doing their own fucking thing. Like, you know, it's crazy. It's a shame.
It's crazy how gaming's gone there, that everyone needs a little gaming posse.
That you do, days. Some of these games, you got to run with the crew.
And I'm just thinking about where we want to take this podcast and what we want to do. And we've discussed so much about, we want this podcast to be something that we really want to give back to the gaming community as much as we can. And I reckon that we could probably create a forum for, you know, like a virtual meeting place for solo gamers when it comes to games like this to maybe meet at each other and play. So look out for that. In the next couple of weeks, we'll see what we can do. But because you're right, like this sounds like an amazing game, and the fact that if you play solo, it shouldn't ruin it. You know, like you should be able to kind of meet new people. That's what gaming's all about. I've got gaming friends that live in different states to me that I met on Apex.
Yeah,
we're the best of friends, and that's what it should all be about. I just feel like sometimes the gaming community falls short on having those meeting places for people that are toxic free. So we'll see what we can do.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like, you know, if there is people out there and you want to game with us, you know, I'm sure at some point we'll put our gaming tags up around, and you can add us and, you know, join us in whatever game we're playing. You know, I think that's really important to sort of, you know, be in touch with the people who listen to this podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, coming back to Helldivers 2. No, that's okay. Coming back to Helldivers 2. So there's two different types of enemies in the game at the minute, and people believe because in Helldivers 1 there was 3 different alien species. There's a sort of another round coming soon of a different species coming into it. So when you're in the game, you're in a drop ship and you get to select the planet that you're going to fight in. And everybody is working towards sort of a common percentage goal of planetary or sort of, sort of the universe dominance of humanity over these other alien species as they encroach on humanity's sort of territories. And you sort of select a planet, dive straight in, you get fired out of a dropship onto the planet, and you have an objective to do there. So there's no storyline. You know, this isn't a storyline game where it's like the missions are cumulative, you know, heading towards something. But as you get deeper into the game, the enemies change, they get more advanced, there's bigger ones, and all of them have different unique ways of taking them down. And you have these things called stratagems, which are like a skill that you obtain that is on a time or a cooldown, and you can basically call in a sentry, a orbital strike. You know, and these orbital strikes, you just like, it's one of these things, it reminds me of Titanfall, where you call in that Titan and it comes flying down from the sky, and you're just like, you see this mechanic hit the ground, and you're like, I'm about to dive into that thing.
I worked hard for that.
Shred some people.
And
like,
mine,
man, you grab a pilot and just crush them, and you're like, it's just, ticks those boxes. This is the same kind of feeling where you call down an orbital strike, and you watch this fucking bombardment shred these aliens, and you're like, I don't know, like, you know, in the weirdest way, it scratches that itch in your soul. It's the weirdest thing.
Guy has a huge smile on his face talking about this game right now, which is not something I see often. It was definitely not a smile last week when we talked about Jedi Survivor or whatever it was.
Well, Baldur's Gate 3, yeah. I mean, this one, yeah.
I can see you, like, existing in this memory of whatever you've played of this game.
Honestly, I really vibed with it. I loved it. So yeah, look, I mean, it's I'm going to give it a high score. I really enjoyed it. I recommend playing it, but if you're going to play it with a crew, play it with mates, and get them on board, you know, and start together. Don't start without them, and do basic training sort of separate but on live chat, and then start the game and do your first mission together, and just, you know, work your way through it. It does get harder as you play along, but my goodness. So there's a lot of, you can change up your character a lot. There is microtransactions, so there's sort of a two-route thing of going, you can spend extra money to get sort of more unique looking gear and better gear. But then there's the usual one where as you accumulate resources, you're able to buy more weapons, different stratagems, change up the way your character looks. So there's a lot of tailoring your character, which is nice. It ticks that box. I enjoy it, but it's a bit of a grind. It's grindy to do that sort of thing. Okay. And microtransactions, and it's sort of spend X money to get X coins to get X items kind of thing.
Is it free?
No, $60 base, and then of course you got to have a PlayStation Network, which I stupidly bought the game and was like, "Fuck, I'm always game online on the Xbox."
I thought PSN was free. They must have changed.
No, it's like $10 or something a month.
Oh, that's
I don't know
not
what
bad.
it is. Yeah, it's all right.
Are the microtransactions necessary?
No, not necessary.
Okay.
No,
because I feel like you either release a free game and you have some paywalls when you start playing it. That's fair enough. But if you charge for a base game, the microtransactions shouldn't be necessary, so at least they've given you the option there.
Yeah. So to wrap it up and put a score on it. I haven't sort of even written down a score for it, but look, what did I give? Oh, geez, 8.9. It's up there. It's a lot of fun. I want to play it more. I've got a lot of mates who are keen to come over and watch me play it. Because I don't have PS5s. But yeah, I rate it. Play it, enjoy it. I don't know how long I will play it for. That's the other thing, right? What I mean by that is because there's no story and it's just this grindy kind of thing, I can see myself enjoying it for a hot minute. I think this is it's going to be a phase one, where everybody's going to ride the high of it for a little while. And if they're smart, they release the third species right as the title drops, drops and sort of, momentum starts dropping for it and gamers start playing other things to pick it back up, I think would be smart.
Well, it depends as well. Not everyone has a gaming list as long as yours.
My gaming list is ridiculous. It's what we should do? We should do an episode where we talk through what our gaming list is.
We should also do an episode where we shit on a game or two, because it's so hard to not come on here and speak out games we're excited about. But for me, just watching you play this and watching the content that you sent me, it very much seems like a Halo with complete autonomy. Halo were games that were linear. This seems like, Halo, the combat, relatively similar, but you've got complete autonomy where you go, what you do, the challenges you chase.
Yeah, you got autonomy and going, right, I'm dropping this planet. This planet has this type of enemy in it. This is the objective on it. You've got to clear out these areas. You've got to find these people. You've got to get some people off a dropship sort of thing. And oh man, there's so many moments. I'm just thinking back, you're in there and these flying dropships come in with these mech suit dudes dropping in their chainsaws for arms and they're just running at you. And you just that kind of, I'm running backwards, diving, shooting over my shoulder, throwing grenades, and it's so much fun.
It sounds like that would be a hell of a laugh with 2 or 3 mates.
Doing it with your mates, and then you accidentally shoot your mate in the head kind of thing, and he's going to come back, but you're then down 1 life in it, or they run cross field just in front of you, and you're like, yo, I've got a sentry set up here. What the fuck are you doing? So much fun.
That sounds good. You got me excited to play it.
Mate, well, yeah, you come over to Savo and you give it a whirl. I know we're going out today, so we might as well.
And I'm going to buy a rig. I've been looking at Ghost brands and a few others. What's the other one I'm looking at? Aftershock. If anyone listening plays on a rig. Yeah, because it's a bit of a gamble going for a rig. It's a competitive market. You want quality.
Yeah.
If you're a big gamer, you want quality. You want the whole setup. You're happy to spend a bit of money on it.
Yeah.
If anyone has any recommendations about their setup, their PC, their rig, I'd love to hear it.
Someone gave me a recommendation the other night, and I've just remembered it. So she was saying that there's down in Melbourne there was a 3D gaming sort of cafe.
Oh yeah.
And they're selling all their rigs on the cheap to get rid of them with high-end stuff. The only problem is it's in Melbourne. And so she said to me, going, if you pay for it, I'll go there and I'll box it and I'll send it to you.
Oh, wow.
I know. But I haven't had an opportunity to sit down and actually look. Is she right? Is it a good thing?
Is she just going to pocket the cash?
Yeah, exactly. Am I going to just drop 2K on this thing and get a lemon of a PC sent to me?
Yeah, nice. I love that. Well, there you go. That sounds like a really good evening gamer game.
It is.
But you can come home, jump on, your mates are there, straight into a game. You don't have to worry about rinse and repeat. It's just do it, have a laugh, have a beer, have fun. That sounds like
I think we're honing in on a niche here of what is the evening gamer game, and it is games like Apex, like Deep Rock Galactic, like Helldivers 2, where you get a fun 20 minutes to a 2-hour run through with your mates, and you all walk away going, that was a good laugh, and you'll have a chat about it the next day.
It's all just Millhouse.
You mean we watching The Simpsons?
It's all just Millhouse the whole time. Love that.
Nice. Let's do some questions.
Questions from a hat. The old questions from a hat.
Old questions. One day I think we should explain why we call it questions from a hat and give sort of the backstory on that, but not today. My question is, most ridiculous funny death you've had in a game?
Okay, I didn't want to give my opinion on explaining the questions from a hat. Sure, fucking cut me off. Let's go.
Most ridiculous funny death. I'm keen to get to the bar, mate. That's what I'm an alcoholic. I'm a degenerate over here. So most ridiculous funny death you've had in a game. So I mean, I just did Helldivers 2, and there's a lot of funny ones in that where you toss a grenade at your feet or an orbital strike and just blow yourself to oblivion. I'm thinking of some other ones. I mean, probably some of my favorite ones are playing Apex. You're in a gunfight. And it's so important not to die in Apex because then you're leaving your man, your two squad mates left, and you're on Olympus and you're in a dogfight and then you drop off the map and you just hang your head in shame. You're just so embarrassed. You're like, holy shit. Or back in the day, Apex early doors, you're playing as Lifeline. You call down one of the fucking, support packs or whatever they call. You drop it on yourself.
Yeah, I think everyone had one of those
fucking
deaths,
pelican.
Mine's actually the same game, Apex. Top 2 squads, right? So we're about to win in ranked. I throw a skynade. I've downed one player, right? Throw a skynade to finish her. But then I go into an actual finisher cinematic accidentally after trying to reload my gun. No. Skynade drops on me.
Oh, no.
Frag grenades in Apex just yeet you across the map. I got yeeted into a portal on Olympus, which fanged me into the ring, and I died on the way back, and we lost the game.
Oh, God.
I think I was very close to uninstalling that day.
You just got to hang your head in shame sometimes. Have a laugh at what you've just done to yourself.
Oh, I pissed myself, but that was a funny one.
I've definitely clipped a few of those ones. They're fun to watch back.
Oh, 100%. I could make an entire page on ridiculous ways I've died.
I mean, like, if maybe we should put that on the Instagram
No
reel.
more ideas. More ideas for today.
Oh, okay.
All right, here's my question. Best game soundtrack or song? I mean, easily has to be Halo.
Okay. Oh, you're going to give us a rendition. Wow.
It's got to be Halo. It's got to be...
Do not go into opera singing, my friend. That is
obviously
terrible.
Not. Fucking no. But yeah, it has to be Halo. Or the other one, you know what the other one might be? And I hate to hammer on about it, but Elden Ring. But not the actual... Like, the soundtrack in Elden Ring was so good, but just when you were just going about your business and anywhere, just that... The nice symphony that was constantly playing on that game was so immersive and so good. So, Halo, Elden Ring for me in terms of soundtracks. What about you?
I was just, while you were talking just then, I was just thinking to myself, like, having a good song in a game or just a good soundtrack totally is such a level up, like a plus up on a game.
It's so true, man, because I was playing Assassin's Creed Mirage the other day, and when you get right into before you're about to assassinate someone, the soundtrack that comes on is so boss, and it makes it so good.
So I've got two answers for this.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't listening to what you just said because
you were in your own brain.
Yeah, I was, because I was trying to remember one of these games that I played back in the day, and I can't for the life of me remember. It's really annoying. So one of them is in Cyberpunk in the DLC.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
You go into a mission. It's in this high-rise tower thing. It's a ballroom, and you're just in the middle of having conversations with people. And this artist comes out, does this song. And you're supposed to walk out of the room to go to the next mission point. I found myself just sat there just watching this performance in a game, and this song came on that just mesmerized me. And it was like that there was a light show in the game. Like, it kind of reminded me, you know how like Fortnite keeps having these artists do performances in it?
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of vibe. And it's Grimes was the singer. And I've just looked it up. She's actually in the fucking video game.
Oh, how good.
She's Lizzie Wizzy in the game. I didn't know that. I was like, wow. Like, I've put that song on one of my playlists. Occasionally I go back to it. It's a really cool song. It's a good song.
Soundtracks in games are underrated. If you want to give yourself an aneurysm, play Doom and just listen to the whole time.
Yeah, very
true. Such a part of the environment, eh?
Oh,
That's a good question. I like that one.
Now the other one. Now this is. I feel like we're gonna have to re-record this, but I'm gonna give an attempt on this. Now the other one, real quick on this. So there is a video game back in the day where you're playing as a Native American and you're in a bar and you're just walking around and there's a jukebox playing and you're just chatting to the people in the bar, and then this song comes on the jukebox and it's some like one of these old classic kind of rock ones that just like starts beating up. as it's happening, these lights come down outside the bar that are like circling the bar, and the top of the bar rips off, and you're shot up into space as an alien fucking abducts you. And the whole game is you then being on this alien spaceship trying to get out of it. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. Like, if you remember this game and you played that, write in and to remind me. I'm sure I can Google it in 2 fucking seconds. But they were going to make a sequel of this game, and they released a trailer for it. The trailer was insane. Like, every time you look at those ones where it's like, what were those games that never actually got released that were, like, hyped up? This one is on the list.
Well, we'll have to drop whatever game that was in the show notes.
No, correct me if I'm wrong next week.
Yeah, correct me
we'll
if
chat
I'm
about
wrong.
it next week. But the song in that one is a classic as well.
We'll update everyone on Guy's Mysterious. I reckon you've dreamt that.
Nah, dead set. I'm verbatim have gotten that right. I remember that vividly.
Arthur Morgan and a Native American walk into a bar and get abducted. What?
Did you say Arthur Morgan? And a Native American?
I was trying to do a walk into a bar joke, but failed miserably.
Fair enough.
I feel like I'm a bit brain dead this week.
Yeah, me too, mate. But I think it was a good episode.
It was a good episode. I started a new job on Monday as well, so.
Yeah, congrats on the new job.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to have to change hands here.
First day of school.
I know. You've been carrying the heavy load for a bit, and I'm going to take it over from you. I'm going to try to at least.
I'm not a teacher, by the way. Anyway, don't be an NPC.
Keep leveling up.